Yeah, it's gonna get old, but yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for coming on with us. It was such a delight when we first got to talk to you, and I think so far it's been really enjoyable. Um,
I hope so for the fans. Good.
oh yeah,
It's the same
definitely,
thing for me as I said, let's not
yeah.
talk about me, let's talk about my work. It's
Yeah,
fun.
yeah.
Jeff, just gonna interrupt for a second. Peter, you're looking at the costume designer. Was it Anne Brucey? Is that her name?
Yes, and
Okay,
Bruce. Yes. I'm
thought I
yeah.
mentioned.
I blush to remember. Yes.
Look
You
at
got
that.
it. Thank you for that.
So I would be remiss if my first question wasn't from my beautiful bride,
Oh,
Jeanette.
good.
She says, "How many times did you have to read for the part, or were you actually sought out by JMS?"
I had a really interesting casting. Um, Mary J. Joe Slater, who cast it, I had worked with her before, and she had cast me in a couple of other TV movies, I think, and some other things. So she called me in for the part, and Andreas and I were with the same agent, so quite. It's very unique, but we got called in on the same day and we got called in right after each other. So I think I went in first. I read at 3 and then Andreas read at 3:15 or something like that, which is very rare. But he and I got to talk and look at pictures, I mean, drawings of our characters. And then I got a job that I had to go to in New York. So I left the next day or the day after that. And when they had callbacks, they called my agent and said, "Yeah, we would like to have Peter come back and read." And you know what Peter said? "I'm in New York. I can't read. Take me or leave me."
Yeah,
It was quite fortuitous for me.
yeah,
Andreas went back, I think, but I didn't even have to do a callback, and they cast me. I don't know. I don't think they didn't regret it. Maybe when I first did the pilot, they may have, but I don't know. I was lucky enough that I didn't. I just had one audition,
yeah.
and I couldn't make the callbacks. So
Okay.
that's really
Um,
lucky.
yeah,
That was
yeah.
lucky for
Because you're
me.
like, "I'm sorry, I'm in New York. I'm on the other end of
That's
the
right. If
country."
you want me, I'm available. Make an offer.
Yeah, yeah. One of our regular guest panelists, Outpost Nerd, had a question. He said Babylon 5 had some amazing guest stars, and
Didn't it?
one major, yeah, I mean, you guys had a ton of them. One of the major guest stars was Majel Barrett Roddenberry. What was it like playing opposite to one of the first ladies of science fiction and some of the other guest stars in the
That's
show?
that's uh, that's Point of No Return, which is the episode they're looking at, I think
Yeah.
now. But anyway, it was really. Am I wrong about that? Maybe I think it is. You could ask Hal. But anyway, it was a little intimidating. That's all I can say. I mean, you have to have. First of all, she's older than I am. She was a woman, so I had great respect for her just on that note. The usual dirty jokes between Veer and I were not going around that day. But the Roddenberry name meant something to me, and it means something to anybody. And she also was a person. I had mentioned this about Andreas. She was quite serious about the work.
Yeah.
She didn't take the work. It wasn't a lighthearted set like as I said, Viet and I used to be. Stephen and I used to screw around a lot and had a great time on the set. We I tried generally to do that, but I was a little intimidated by her.
Really?
You can't go anywhere in science fiction without running into Gene Roddenberry or uh, what's his name from the Twilight Zone, Serling. You
Rod
know,
Serling. Yeah.
Rod Serling. These people, they're icons for a reason. In terms of television, they're pretty iconic. So
Yeah.
I was serious about it. I don't know that I did it as well as I could have in those scenes, but I was a little intimidated. What can I say? It
Yeah.
was nice to work with her, and I wanted to be respectful. The stupid kind of jokes that go between Star Trek and Babylon 5 and the other shows are just that. They're stupid arguments. Each show is so singularly its own. You can't really compare it to talk about apples and oranges, right? I
Yeah.
mean, they're not the same at all. But I did have respect for her and for the last name. So
Yeah. Yeah. Um,
it was a little intimidating. What can
yeah,
I say?
yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, I bet. I bet it would be.
I mean,
Um,
when the few times I met Shatner and Nimoy's son directed, but Leonard Nimoy was
mhm,
really was you kind of shake your head and say, okay, I know who you guys are.
yeah.
I know where you really stand in terms of
The,
television
the
sci-fi.
hierarchy of the
Yeah, exactly.
blue bloods, if you will. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, Dave, speaking about you and Veer, right? Londo and Veer. Dave, one of our regular viewers, he said, "What memories do you have of the fantastic, albeit brief scene?" And you know where I'm going with this. When
No.
Londo and Veer singing the opera aria in
Oh,
the
well,
hallway near the
you know
elevator.
what? You can see we had a ball with that, but
Yes.
and I don't think Stephen, looking down, if he's either bothering to look down at all, but he was a little, I was a lot more intimidated by the singing than I was. I had been in musicals and I
Hmm.
had studied voice, and so I felt more confident about the music anyway. But what I remember is that Stephen was a little like, "Oh no, we have to sing Centauri opera," but we had a great time eventually. If you look at the scene, you'll see at one point I reach out and grab his hand,
Yeah.
and I did that in a kind of supportive way between the two of us.
Hmm.
I confess that, but that was such a good time. I mean, what a fun scene! And then the guy who comes in afterwards, wonderful actor. I think he's passed now. He and I had worked together a number of times, and so that completed that scene. Um,
Oh
you
yeah.
know,
Yeah,
yeah,
he was Londo's best friend, right? And
yeah, that's right.
became
Yeah,
kind
we
of an
should look up his
enemy by
name.
demise. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm sure Al is already on it, or Snob.
You have no excuse. I have an excuse because
Oh,
I'm 75, but you have no excuse.
I,
But
I
the
have a
fans are
whole
going to
list
fill
here.
it in for you really fast. They're
Yeah,
gonna they're gonna fill it in. Yeah, he was a wonderful actor,
I'm
and
sure somebody's gonna pop it into one of these
of
chats. There's
course,
three chats here. Um, so that, I mean, that was, yeah. It didn't even come off as being supportive. It came off as, and I could you could see it when you did grab, but it came off as a like a excitement, a celebratory, like you were getting him. You were both kind of really enjoying it at that
we were
point.
trying to be fanboys of it.
Yeah,
We were acting like, I don't know, two guys who love the Beatles or the Rolling Stones or my generation's music, and say, wow, isn't it great? We love this. So that was the intent behind both of us, that
right.
gee, what fun, our old favorite music. So
Yeah, yeah. How different is Centauri from Italian?
don't ask me. That's a good. We kind of made that up. We kind of
Did you
made that up.
really? Yeah.
No, there was nothing written. No
Oh,
music.
really?
No music was written for it, and no actual dialogue was written. I mean, I believe that's the way it went down. Somebody could go and track down the original script, but I don't think JMS wrote any words for us, and I know we made up the music for
Okay.
us.
Oh, that's awesome.
Stephen and I could goof around together. We had good fun. So
So there's an ad lib moment you guys actually had where you got to put it in. It probably had, singing, operatic singing in parentheses, kind of like technobabble.
no, it's true.
Yeah.
That's really true. That's part of. That's true. I have such pleasant memories. We had so many. I mean, like the duck scene, or where he says to me, or I say to him, "Come on, what is that American? Feathers, webbed feet."
Oh,
And
yeah,
he
yeah,
says,
I remember that.
"Cats."
Yeah.
Right. I mean, those were such great
Cats.
fun scenes to do. Cats.
That is a great scene. And that's early on. I think that was
That
season
was
one.
really early on,
Yeah.
but if you look at that, you could tell Stephen and I love doing it. So
Yeah. Dean wants to know, is it true, speaking about Centauri, is it true that you had an escalating dare about how bad your hair could be at the start of filming? And if
Yep.
so, tell us about it.
You know what? I've told the story many times, but Dean is right. It is true. When they make a wig in Hollywood, they always make it when they construct the wig, they always make it too long.
Hmm.
Because they hope that they could cut it, and if I mean, if it's too long, if it's too short, you're screwed, right? You can't make it longer, so they make them too long. And when they first put the wig on me, those were the hardworking guys from that makeup group. Boy, they were great. They slept over, and when we were doing the pilot, but they put the wig on, and it was really long, and
Yeah.
I thought it looked funny, and the makeup people thought it was funny, so we thought JMS would find it funny. So we walked down the hall, and he was in his little trailer typing away like you always found him. And we said, "Hey, JMS, this was a joke. We thought this would be a good look for Londo, the really big hair, because the original sketch I had referenced to Al about the audition with Andreas, and he had sketches of all of our characters. And my character had very short little hair, kind of what Katarja, the emperor, wore, tiny little.
Hmm.
And so we thought that would be funny. And he looked at it and he said, "No, that looks good. Leave it like that. That looks good, really long." And as I always told in convention, the joke was on me, right? I mean, I had to wear that hair for 5 years, but
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And the
Yep.
poor girls who had to do it, two wonderful UK hair artists, they would work on it and make it as perfect as they could, and then bring it in. And it was like a coronation on my head, the last thing of the day. But yeah, Dean has it right. We presented it to Joe as though it was a joke, and yeah,
Yeah.
the joke was on us.
Yeah. 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 You made your bed, or hair in this case.
That's right.
Um, there was a good question that popped up in the chat. It says, so what was it like for your character Londo to go from being the buffoonish diplomat, the guy who got stuck at the end of the galaxy, nobody wanted this position. In fact, that was just revealed in the episode last week that we watched. That
Mm.
Yeah, we kind of knew that to begin with, but it came out, and of course your counterpart Jakar discovered that, right? What was it like to go from that to being the dark Faustian villain?
That was the best part, not the best part, but one of the initial things that I loved about the character from the very beginning. That turn, I mean, most of the time when you're on a television series, they hire you and you play basically that character. I
Hmm.
mean, you're the good doctor from across town, or you're the evil police chief, and then you play that over and over and over, and the writers write for that story. The great thing about Babylon is that I started out, as you say, buffoonish, a drunk. He was
Yeah.
stuck in a corner in life. That's what I always said I loved about him. He was at the, suicide was the next real option for him,
Right.
and he was trying to do that with booze anyway.
Yeah.
And Instead, what Joe had in store for it was that turn, and that's what made it great. It really was fun to play. I told you that he already knew that I had built a little bit of a reputation as being able to play comedy and drama
Hmm.
sufficiently equal, or maybe sufficiently. I don't know. Some people would find all of the dramatic scenes comedic, but that's
Yeah.
not my call. That's somebody else's. That's the critics. But so I was the right guy. He said, I saw recently, he said he was looking for a cross between Charles Lawton and Zero Mostel.
Mm.
And, both of those are, in my estimation, great. I could never aspire to be as good as Charles Lawton or Zero Mostel as an
Right.
actor, but they were the same kind of actors. They could turn it both ways.
Okay.
So that turn was right up my alley. It was the best thing.
Yeah, no, I mean, we've seen that arc, and even with the costume changes, I know some of the commentary JMS has done on some of the episodes, on the DVD box set. He talks about how you started off in one costume and then migrated over to, they started adding the red.
Yeah.
So, uh,
Yeah.
your performance, I think you see his look and it like when he what have I wrought, at certain points in time.
The Faustian thing that you mentioned, that's right. And everybody was on the same page with JMS. He may not look like he was a tough guy, but he ran that show. He knew what he wanted that show to be. A
Yeah,
couple of times that got compromised by the network, by money or whatever, or loss of actors and stuff. But I mean, the aforementioned Anne Bruce, the costume, he spent a lot of time with her. He never admitted, like I did, that he had a crush on her, but the two of them worked together a lot. They developed the costumes for people. They really did. They tried to make Londo's costume change and
right.
grow.
Okay.
I mean, he
Um,
had those great cufflinks with eyeballs on them. Come on, those were so cool. You know,
yeah,
those looked like they should have been in Clockwork Orange or something. You know, they were great. Anyway,
yeah. Um, Dave, from Emperor's Choice Games, he's a buddy of mine. He asked me, what was your favorite moment in the story, in the whole story to play? What was your favorite moment
I
to
don't know
have?
that I could nail one moment. You know, again, getting an understanding of the character. Some of the very earliest things I had to do in the pilot, the speech about with Garibaldi when I was the characters at the bar, and he talks about, you know, we've become an amusement park and all that. You know, when he was the drunk at the beginning who was just horrified at what he had done to himself and what the Centauri had become. I loved playing that. I wasn't as facile, I wasn't as good maybe as I got after 3 seasons. I mean, there are all sorts of things I had to do. I can't to pin one down, as they jokingly say, they are all my little children. You know, I couldn't find one. I had a lot, so many good moments. You know, the moment in on the ship watching Centauri Prime getting. I should maybe say that. It's a spoiler alert,
That's
but
okay.
yeah, I mean that was a great moment. The scenes with Andreas, there were so many. We started at like two kids bickering, and then eventually our scenes got pretty heavy together. The scenes in the
Yeah.
prisons and stuff. So it's hard to pick one. I do remember, as I said, the pilot was really fun because I was just discovering him at that point. So I said maybe I wasn't as solid, and I wavered back and forth. But those were really fun moments. That's a great but I love doing the pilot too.
And 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 there's a question here. As an actor, were you happy with the character development and resolution? It sounds like you were. You like to see that
I
completion.
was over the moon about it. As I said, the idea of signing on to 5 years or 7 years, how long the contracts were that didn't particularly making the money every week was intriguing and great for me, and I loved that idea. Oh, yippee! We're going to make a good amount of money, and we're going to make it every week. That of course was great, but if I had to play, as I said, the good doctor on some series over and over and over, and that's all I got to do, or the whatever, like I said, the bad sheriff. It was not going to be fun.
Get
This was
boring.
great because of that,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
of the
There
changes.
was a whole completion on it.
Yeah.
Shadow and Sun asks, "What did you do professionally after Babylon 5? And what was it like to know you were possibly the most popular character on the show?"
What was the second part of it? What did
What
I do afterwards? But
yeah, well, what did you do? Yeah, what did you do professionally?
yeah.
What was after Babylon 5? And then the second part was, What was it like knowing you were one of the, if not the most popular character?
First of all, that's all. It depends on who's watching to who would say who was the most popular. As I said, I loved doing the part when I was doing it. I was glad people liked the character. If they didn't, I didn't hear about it. You're not in the theater where they throw fruit and boo. So I would just go home and make believe the people who didn't like what I did. I didn't have to worry about it. It was great. I liked the part. So that was it. In terms of what I did afterwards, I would refer you to my resume. But when I look it over, stuff like I'm looking at films now, The Longest Ride, Runaway Jury, 42, Arthur Newman, Little
Yeah.
Red Wagon. There was a lot of stuff in terms of TV. What did I do after? I think I did Sliders afterwards. That show, a sci-fi show. Yeah, that was after Babylon 5, or maybe during Babylon 5. I don't remember where Dear John was. I don't know if that was before Babylon 5 or after. But I'm looking at my every year I was really lucky I did network pilots all the time.
Yeah.
So after I did Babylon 5, I got a couple of network pilots that didn't go, but those were some really I did one with Pierce Brosnan, who I had done Remington Steele a couple of times.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I did two. I think I did two episodes on that, two different characters, but I liked him very much. And we had a pilot that we did together that didn't go. And Shelley Duvall, I had a pilot that didn't go. So I did that. What else? I'm looking at my Drop Dead Diva, Going to California. I don't know. You know, I'm an actor, as I said. I have a kind of chubby face and a big nose. I look a little like Jeff here, but so they could cast me. They cast me. I could work when they could find a spot for me just about in anything. It
If
was
only I
great.
could act.
If only you could act. That's right. I can't do what you do though. You know. So anyway, I did a lot of work. You can look if you go on IMDb,
Mhm.
that site, WIMDb. That is the only one that does actors chronologically, and the only way you get on there is if you actually have a SAG contract. So people could say, "Oh, I was on Breaking Bad. I did a couple of episodes of Breaking Bad." But if you go on IMDb, if it's not on there, you didn't do it. They
Right.
because they put up contractual work.
Okay. Um, let's see. We all love him as Londo. Could you ask him what other roles that of his that he thought was particularly good in and that people should watch? So,
Well, obviously, Hill Street Blues. That character, Sid the Snitch. That was the first character part, like Londo, that they let me do. As I said, the first stuff when I first was doing the show with James Earl Jones, I was playing me, and I played me. I played a lot of lawyers and teachers, straight guys. I could do those roles for people, but when I got a really juicy character role, that was lucky. And another actor said to me, Peter, you hit the lottery twice, because really Londo was a great character to play,
mhm.
and Hill Street Blues was a great character. He was a fun character, Sid the Snitch. So um, I would say that was one of my favorites. I'm trying to think. I did just a ton of TV movies. So I played a lot of. I'm looking at my resume here. I mean, I think back to the Perry Mason movie that I did, and I met Jerry Orbach. He's an actor who was in tons of stuff, but we got to know each other on that. So that was a sweet movie. I loved doing that. I never thought that would be a fun gig for me. It was an old series, and those people were using me a lot. But I look fondly back at that television movie, and there were a lot of stuff that
Yeah.
afterwards. I refer you to IMDb. If you haven't
Yeah.
been on that page, the nice thing is you can find Babylon 5 and they'll show you everything I did after it.
All 110 episodes. Yeah.
Yeah, after the 110 Babylon 5. I know enough already, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
if I can
sorry.
just yeah, go
Sorry,
ahead.
Jeff. We're getting a lot of feedback and doubling from you, I think.
From me or from him?
No, from
No, no,
Jeff.
Pete, you're okay.
Um,
And now we get it from you just now, also.
getting it from me too. That's strange. Al,
Yeah,
you see if you go ahead.
No problem. No problem. I'll take over here a second. Peter. Yeah,
Yes.
One of your. Oh, well, it's happening to me too here. Oh, wow. One of your biggest fans, you may know her very well. You've spoken with her. You've done a little bit of a soliloquy to her. She says, in the back there, you have a lot of books.
Yes.
What is it that you read the most? Do you read science fiction? Do you read, drama? What do you like
Well,
best?
all of these books over here are just plays and some acting books. I don't know who you're talking about. Who I did a
Oh, you know who you're
soliloquy
talking
to?
about. You know who you're talking about.
No, I don't know. It's not
My
my
wife.
wife.
My wife. You know.
Oh, you're okay. I had nothing to do with his wife. Don't believe him. Wait, those rumors are unfounded. Right now I have friends who are writers that I have a stack of books next to my bed. I have a wonderful friend who writes. He's written a new science fiction novel called. I can't remember it. Noir. Anyway, his name is Rich Leader. I read his books. I have really good friends who are writers who send me all their books on hand. So I have a stack of books there. I have a dear friend who was a college friend who always sells me history, but I like science stuff, Brian Cox and stuff like that. Those are more my favorite. And I love plays and I love poetry because I'm an interpreter. That's my job. So
Now, Jeff brought up the opera scene on there, and
oh, you did.
you can say no to this, but could you throw us a little tune tonight? A little bit.
You want to see if I can sing
y-
Centauri opera?
Yeah. Well, we know
Oh,
you had a bit of a
jeez.
singing thing. There's an album. I know there's an album that you have out there.
That's right.
That
Well,
you
you really, that's unfair because there are really serious singers like Bill Mumy. He was a serious singer. Claudia, I think, is a really good singer. Good. I'm not. I can't sing any. I can't. I'll sing. Let's see. Boom, boom. Oh, I can't remember the words of the Centauri opera. I can't do it. It'll just cost you too much. You guys are paying a ton to get me on here already, and I can't make you pay residuals for good. I'm not going to sing Moon River for you. So
well, that my wife.
I can do Londo for you anytime. I can say,
please,
my
please,
good and
little
dear
Londo.
friends. Greetings and salutations, my good and dear friends. What an honor it has been for me to spend this hour or two with you, you moon-faced assassins of joy. It has been a good time for me, so thank you. And these four who have invited me, as I said, I'm not sure I'm going to get the check they promised anyway, so it doesn't matter. The joy for me has been with you, the fans. These four over here, God only knows what they're up to. All right, that's my Londo for you. That's the best I can do at this age.
Awesome.
Great.
Any more questions? Anything else I can do for you? Anything you want me to talk about? Any other shows? Any of the people on the show? Want to hear inside dope on who they really were? Dirty little secrets I know from spending 5 years with these people.
Absolutely.
I'll give it all.
By all means,
if the
take
money's
it.
right. No, I would do serious about them, and they're all good people. I have no dirty little secrets, and if I did, I wouldn't tell them to you guys.
You know
Or
what?
the fans.
I would
Or
love
the
to hear
fans.
anything you have to say about any of the cast, any recollections that are special to you, and then
Yeah, you know what? I always say this. What I said about Bruce, he was the perfect person to be the head of the cast. Michael O'Hare, that was a different situation, but he was an actor who had come from New York and had never really led a cast. It takes a special talent to not be a big egotist, but to lead well. And Bruce was a terrific person to be on top of the cast list. Bill Mumy is such a multi-talented guy. You go back to Lost in Space, and he's been doing it forever and ever. He produces, directs, writes, and then he has a serious musical catalog. And a really great guy. Loves his family. He's an old hippie. He's an old liberal. There's nothing not to like about, for me, not to like about Bill Mumy. He was great. Mira Furlan, who we lost, what can I say? She was, uh, as I said, she was a star before she got to Babylon 5. She was a star in her country, and she suffered a lot of uh, you know, uh, tough times and challenges because she was Croatian. She married a Serbian, and like all wars and standoffs, it's filled with a lot of crap. But she faced up to that, and she was a fabulous actress. I've already confessed that I had a crush on Andrea Thompson, but she really was a special person, and likewise Jerry Doyle. When he came, he was a guy on Wall Street. He had done some work, but very little, and he was quite amazing that he was able to kind of do all the work he did. And when I told you he was somebody who paid attention and learned every day, he was smart guy. He was a smart man, and he learned. Um, by the end of his life, as you know, he had his own radio show, and he was a very successful man. So, what can I say about him? He was a great guy. Pat Tallman has the biggest heart of all of us. Claudia was really the heart and soul of our cast in the sense that when we were low or things weren't going well, Claudia she very strong person. She was the person who picked us all up. So she was kind of the beating heart, Claudia. But Pat has such a great, big, loving heart that she was great. I talked about Stephen already. I've talked about Andreas.
What about
What
Ed
about Ed
Wasser?
Wasser? Ed
Mr.
Wasser was
Morden.
he was
You
Mr.
you had some
Molden.
great you had great interaction with him, in the series.
He was great. I don't know I hope he enjoyed our time together as much as I did. Again, Londo was sucked in by him, but at some point I think he was always aware that he was on thin ice with Morden, that he was getting something, but my character was a kind of character that was well aware when people were, taking from him. So, but Ed was, he was just a great, again, hardworking like Jerry. Um, I don't think I'm an easy actor to work with. And so many of his scenes were with me, but he was always hardworking and working to be the Mr. Molden that we love. So
Yeah, my other T-shirt is an Ed Wasser T-shirt as Mr. Morden, but in darkness.
he was great in that role, wasn't he? He was
Oh
playing
yeah.
old Spooky at some points. He was. Who else?
Now there is a question from the chat. Let me see if I can get this out. Hold on one minute here. Okay, here we go. Edgelord King, my childhood friend, the best man at my wedding, died of cancer a couple of years ago. He was identical in personality to Londo. Thank you for reminding me of him every time I watch Ray.
Well, what can I say? That is my great gift, that to get a character like that from JMS, and then for it to reverberate down to you, my friend. to remind you of your friend. Gee, I don't know what to say. Those are the good things. Sometimes I look back, as I said, I'm going to be 76 next year, and you start looking back at your life and you say, "Gee, I wonder whether I should have been. Maybe I could have been a doctor, or that would have been fun. I could have helped more people, or I could have been this or that." And sometimes I do that, like everybody does about their work. But moments like this, make me realize I was really lucky to do what I did. Even in the smallest roles, if you touch somebody, you brighten their day, or in this case, remind you of your best man who you lost to cancer. Well, what can I say? I'm a lucky son of a bitch, right? So
Oh, yes, you are.
to tell me
Now,
what
Tom, do we have anything else? Ask Peter.
do I have anything else?
No,
Haven't
no,
I
I'm talking
talked?
about Tom.
Haven't I talked enough? As I said to you, the joke about the actor. Don't forget that. I could go on. You could shut this down, and I'll sit here and talk for another hour. But that's because I'm old and I had some blessings and good luck in my life.
We'd all listen.
Yeah, right. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
No, thank you.
Yeah, so we're hitting the 2 hour mark, Peter.
Okay,
I
good.
don't know if you want to continue or.
Well, I would take more questions if you want. At some point, my wife will come in and say, "Come back to my arms, my lover and friend." Right? But I would answer some more questions if you wanted me. I'm going to say what I said at the beginning. Snob, Al, and Jeff, and all you guys, Cam. It's up to you guys. I'm ready to say goodnight, and I'm ready to thank you for a great time, and I'll follow your lead, okay? And I'll go get a glass of Bravari and call it a night.
Well, how about we do 2 more questions?
Great.
And I'll
Anything you like. The only thing I refuse is singing, and that got you off the hook. You don't know how bad I actually sing. I could sing a little bit, but I did musicals. But
I'll
go
put
ahead.
it to a question from Jeff and one from Al.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, Snob.
Go ahead, guys.
I'll start off here. Hang on. You were on Sliders. I think
Yeah.
toward the end of the series. How was it working with that group of science fiction?
Well, first of all, the cast was very generous. They were, happy I was on. I was replacing an actor in a sense. I can't remember his name. He's a famous English actor. In a sense, I was replacing him, not actually. And the thing about that role is that what was he? He was like an astrophysicist or something like that. The character, very very big head, very bright, and goes without saying it was a real stretch for me.
Yeah, that's great, John Rhys Davies.
That's right. First of all, those are big shoes to step into, and the character was so smart that I always felt like it was above my head. I don't know that I did such a great job with the character, but it was certainly a joy to do. I enjoyed it. I had played people who are smarter than me a number of times, and that's always a challenge. Let's make believe I'm really smart. As I always tell people, I can hardly figure out how to make cornbread muffins without following the recipe very carefully. And so to make believe that I was an astrophysicist, not really, But I had a great time and I loved doing it. One more from you, Jeff? Got anything?
Yeah. Real quick, any hobbies or projects outside of acting that you enjoy?
You know what? As I said, I'm a real lover of music. I'm have an eclectic taste for jazz. I love all the people from the Boomer generation, but I'm the ultimate Bob Dylan fanboy. So I love him, but I love Jeff Beck, and so I love rock and roll. I love Pat Metheny. I love Jaco Pastorius. So I love music. And as I said, my wife and I, on our second cup of coffee, were reading poems to each other this morning. That's not kidding. That's real. So I love poetry because that's what acting is about, interpreting literature. So it was really great.
That's
So those are
awesome.
my hobbies. I love baseball too.
Me too.
Me too. I know. I see. I mentioned it to you.
Yes, sir.
I've been in your park. I love Wrigley. It's great.
Oh,
great.
Wrigley's great.
Yeah, it's great. Who else has appeared here?
The very much beleaguered. Peter, I just wanted to jump in. My name is Jim. I'm editor over at Sci-Fi.
I see.
And I just wanted to come in. I'm not going to ask a bunch of questions because I'm stepping in at the end. But I do want to thank you for doing all of this and being a part of it and giving us this time tonight. It's very generous of you. Very gracious of you. You didn't have to do it. It is much appreciated.
You know, and I appreciate so much you saying it. Thanks for saying that. I take it to heart. I was happy to do it. This is a great crew of people, despite the occasional Cub hat or Cub cap that I see. Yeah, exactly. But no, I like all four of these people a lot. So this is great for me to do. But I appreciate you saying it. Fun for me. Thanks.
We're gonna have to go see a baseball game sometime.
I'd love it. Okay. All right, you guys. Well, let me know what lead me on.
All right, Peter. Thank you. Thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you for the nice words about it. It was my pleasure, and I always love to chat with the fans. So it was really nice to be invited. Thank you.
And we greatly appreciated you being out here.
Cool.
Is there anything that you have coming out as an actor that you want to mention at all?
No. As I said, I don't work anymore in my chosen profession. So I have a long list of things I have to do for my sweet wife. I'm retired and happy to be retired and enjoying that. So, huh? What did you say? Oh, you're looking to see? Are you still getting me, Al?
We're having a bit of an echo on our end.
Oh, good. Well, I have nothing. I have nothing coming out that you should be watching for or waiting for. I don't write books. If I write poetry, no one will see it. So, anyway, thank you for asking.
Peter, I did have a thought on how you could return for the Tron franchise. Your program was here, but your human user we've never met. And you mentioned your lightsaber entity. I wouldn't see why you couldn't play a blind programmer and come back to Tron.
I'm not sure I understood what you said because I'm getting a little broken from you. But are you trying to get me back in those white tights?
No. You could play your human counterpart.
Oh yes, that's right. I could. That's right. He didn't die. That's right.
Put on
the bank guy. Right.
Yeah.
Make sure you give Disney a call if you got some, cachet over there. As I said, I don't think I can get in front of a camera anymore because of these light things. But yeah,
well,
I would.
You put on dark sunglasses and your character is blind, and you're all set.
That's it. That's who I can play. You got it. Write me the role. I'm there. If I can wear sunglasses, I can do it.
There you go. Well, thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, guys.